I'm gonna wait a couple of minutes before I get started. Wait for a few more people to come on and watch. Hope everybody had a really good day today. Mine was busy. I did some yard work. I did some research. Yeah. Anyways, so I don't know how many new people we have, but once we get a few more viewers, I'm gonna go into a really quick recap about what led us here, what led us to this moment, what I'm going to be talking about tonight. During this broadcast, anytime, please feel free to post a question on the comments, and I will do my best to answer them as they pop up. So I think we'll give it until about 8:35 before I start really jumping into things. I found some really interesting stuff today, yesterday, and the day before. And again, it all started back when I first saw the post about Ferguson going to be at EWU doing a presentation. That kind of caught my attention, and I started looking into who he is. Not necessarily who he is. Obviously, who he is who he is, but as a person and what he stands for. What are his convictions? What does he really believe in? All right. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and jump in. For those of you who did not see or maybe had some trouble understanding the video that I had posted of the question that I asked Mr. Ferguson, I'm going to repeat that question really quickly. The question that I asked him was, please explain the evolution of Senate Bill number 5444, where there was no mention of the state as being an authorized entity to approve or deny firearm applications. And it was a three-part question. First part was, where did the state addition come from? Second, what purpose does this serve? Third, and who exactly does the state refer to in 1639? Okay, that was a question. So, question being all about the state. What is the state? Who's the state? Why does the state get to have any say? How much say does the state actually have? And who represents the state where this is concerned? Okay, this being 1639. So what I have is here, let me see, grab these. A list of references to the state. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through them kind of quick, but I'm going to read them all in context and kind of try to paint a picture for you guys of the state. All right. So, and I'm going to be really specific about where these references are located so that you guys can look it up. We have a file copy of 1639 at the top of our page in the files section. You can just go up there and click it, and on your own time, fact check what I'm saying about what it says. All right. I never ask anybody to take my word for it. And if I make a mistake or I misspeak, please let me know, because I'm human, I make mistakes. Anyway, Here we go. The state as having authority under 1639 to approve or deny firearm applications. First reference to the state is section 3, subsection 1, page 4, under letter B of 1639. All right. And I have page 4 here. I need page 3 though. I need page 3 because page 4, it goes into the middle of the paragraph. I'm sorry about this, guys. There is page 3 right there. Ah. Okay, so under letter B, again, that references section 3, subsection 1, page 4, letter B. The dealer, regarding when the dealer can release the firearm to the purchaser. The dealer is, this is letter B, the dealer is notified in writing by the chief of police or the sheriff of the jurisdiction in which the purchaser resides that the purchaser is eligible to possess a pistol under RCW 9.41.040 and that the application to purchase the firearm is approved by the chief of police or sheriff, and this part is underlined, so it's an amendment to the already existing RCWs, or the state that the purchaser is eligible to possess a firearm under RCW 9.41.040, or the state. Okay? So the dealer has to be notified by the sheriff or the police department, or now the state. So the state gets to approve and deny firearm applications now? That's step 1. That's just the first reference. Okay, and keep in mind, all of the additions of the state in 1639 is an amendment to the current existing RCWs, which only references the sheriff's department or the local police department to be allowed to be the authority on who gets issued a CPL or denied a firearm application. The next reference I'm going to read from is section 3, subsection 2, letter B, also on page 4. The dealer is, okay. Now this is regarding semi-automatic assault rifles. The dealer is notified in writing by the chief of police or the sheriff of the jurisdiction in which the purchaser resides that the purchaser is eligible to possess a firearm under RCW 9.41.040 and that the application to purchase is approved. That means the state has the authority to approve the application or deny it. And this goes back to the question that I asked Ferguson. If you watch that video, we did put up a volume enhanced version of it to make it a little easier to hear because I know the sound quality was really bad. They were having sound issues in the room. The dealer is notified in writing by the chief of police or the sheriff of the jurisdiction in which the purchaser resides that the purchaser is eligible to possess a firearm under RCW 9.41.040 and that the application to purchase is approved by the chief of police or sheriff or the state that the purchaser is eligible to possess a firearm, right? And all of these references keep going back to as provided in subsection 3B of this section. All right, so subsection 3B, that first one that I read to you, that's where it's all at. Okay, so the next reference to the state is section 3, subsection 4, on the bottom of page 5 and the top of page 6. Okay? In any case under this section where the applicant has an outstanding warrant for his or her arrest from any court of competent jurisdiction for a felony or misdemeanor, the dealer shall hold the delivery of the pistol or semi-automatic rifle until the warrant for arrest is served and satisfied by appropriate court appearance. The local jurisdiction for purposes of the sale or the state pursuant to subsection 3B of this section shall confirm the existence of outstanding warrants within 72 hours after notification of the application to purchase a pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle is received. Or the state. So now they have the authority to put a hold on a weapon until they can either verify or deny that someone has a warrant. Does that mean that, you know, how that leaves a lot of questions for me. But moving right along. The next section is my one of my favorites. Section 3, subsection 5, in the middle of page 6. Okay? So that's page 5. In any case where the chief or sheriff of the local jurisdiction or the state, pursuant to subsection 3B of this section, has reasonable grounds based on the following circumstances: open criminal charges, pending criminal proceedings, pending commitment proceedings. Pending, that does not mean they've been completed yet. That just means someone is worried about you and they filed a court action. There's been no judgment yet. Sounds like a violation of due process to me. All right. But we have this or the state. Or the state. So now the state, again, gets to go in and decide if there's reasonable cause. So what this is looking like to me is, say the police chief or the sheriff, they're usually the ones checking everything. Well, so now it looks like with all these mentions of the state, now it looks like the state can go in and overrule our chief of police or sheriff, thus stripping the local police departments and county sheriffs of their sovereign authority. Are you guys getting a little bit of a picture yet? I hope so. All right, so the next one is under this. So we have or the state in the first sentence of the subsection 5, and then it's mentioned again: an arrest for an offense making a person ineligible under RCW 9.41.040 to possess a firearm if the records of disposition have not yet been reported or entered sufficiently to determine eligibility to purchase a firearm. The local jurisdiction or the state may hold the sale. So that leads me back to my question. Part of my question was, my phrasing was, in Senate Bill 5444, where there was no mention of the state as being an authorized entity to approve or deny firearm applications. That's exactly what this does, is it gives the state that authorization. Okay? So, or the state may hold the sale and delivery of the pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle up to 30 days in order to confirm existing records in this state or elsewhere. After 30 days, the hold will be lifted unless an extension of the 30 days is approved by a local district court, superior court, or municipal court for good cause shown. A dealer shall be notified of each hold placed on the sale by local law enforcement or the state. So now the state gets to tell a gun dealer he can't sell a gun, right? Under these circumstances, the state gets to then directly notify the gun dealer. No, don't hold that. So now they have authorization to hold it, hold the sale, right? They have authorization to hold the sale now. 100%. They can just hold it, right? And that is after the 30 days. That's after the 30 days already. Okay. So next we have, there's still more references to the state. Isn't it wonderful? Okay. Next we have in section 3, subsection 6, letter A, appendix, forgive me, 4, I think it is. It's IV. I'm not super great with Roman numerals. All right. So subsection 6 starts with, at the time of applying for the purchase of a pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle, the purchaser shall sign in triplicate and deliver to the dealer an application containing his or her full name. This is what they want you to put on your application. His or her full name, residential address, date and place of birth, race, and gender. The date and hour of the application, the applicant's driver's license number or state identification card number, a description of the pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle, including the make, model, caliber, and manufacturer's number, if available at the time of applying for the purchase of a pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle. If the manufacturer's number is not available at the time of applying for the purchase of a pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle, the application may be processed, but delivery of the pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle to the purchaser may not occur unless the manufacturer's number is recorded on the application by the dealer and transmitted to the chief of police of the municipality or the sheriff of the county in which the purchaser resides or the state. So now the state has the name, address, birth date, birthplace, race, and yes, even gender of a person wishing to exercise their right to bear arms. Right? It's one thing for them to have that information for tax season, for tax time. It's a completely different thing altogether. Why do they need to know our gender or our race? What difference does that make? Right? All right. So the next reference is section 3, subsection 6, letter C on page 8. Okay, and this is for you gun dealers. This has to do with you guys. What you have to do. What the state is forcing you to do to violate your customers. Okay? Subsection 6, section 3, subsection 6, letter C, page 8. The dealer shall, by the end of the business day, and I want to double check. Yes, okay. I wanted to make sure I was on the right section here. The dealer shall, by the end of the business day, sign and attach his or her address and deliver a copy of the application and such other documentation as required under subsections 1 and 2 of this section to the chief of police of the municipality or the sheriff of the county of which the purchaser is a resident or the state. Pursuant to subsection 3B of this section, the triplicate shall be retained by the dealer for 6 years. The dealer shall deliver the pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle to the purchaser following the period of time specified in this chapter, unless the dealer is notified of an investigative hold under subsection 5 of this section in writing. Now, what did I just bring up with the last one? That they could put a hold on it just to investigate, just to check things out, right? Of this section in writing by the chief of police of the municipality, the sheriff of the county, or the state, whichever is applicable, or of the denial of the purchaser's application to purchase and the grounds thereof. The application shall not be denied unless the purchaser is not eligible to purchase or possess the firearm under, now, remember, everything that's underlined is an amendment. It wasn't there before, but it's there now. Under state or federal law. State, I'll show you right here. Well, maybe if my camera, state right there is underlined. That's an amendment. They added their own laws to make sure that they no longer had to follow the federal law. Because Washington State now has some of the strictest gun control laws in the nation. So that's I'm going to cover my butt move, right? All right. So we have 2 more mentions of the state to go over real quick. Sorry, just bear with me. I know it's kind of a long video, but this is important. I have a point, I promise. All right. So the next reference is section 3, subsection 6, letter D on page 8, talking about retention of records. All right. Subsection 6, letter D. On page 8. All right, so here we have, I set my page down and then I had to pick it back up again. Sorry, guys. Letter D. The chief of police of the municipality or the sheriff of the county or the state, pursuant to subsection 3B of this section, shall retain or destroy applications to purchase a pistol or semi-automatic assault rifle in accordance with the requirements of 18 United States Code section 922. Shall retain. Right? So again, see if I can get it up there. Or the state is underlined. It's really blurry, guys. I'm sorry. I don't have the best camera, but or the state, you can see it right there. It's underlined. That means it is an amendment. That is how they mark amendments to current laws when they're proposing an initiative. Okay? So the state just added itself to and authorized it and is authorized to retain all of those records, that application with all that personal information on it. Personal information. Okay? The last one, in reference to the state, is section 10, subsection 9, letter B, page 17, regarding a true record of every gun sold. A true record of every gun sold. Right? Okay. 1 copy shall within 6 hours be sent by certified mail to the chief of police of the municipality or the sheriff of the county of which the purchaser is a resident, or the state pursuant to RCW 9.41.090. And again, right there, it's an amendment. Sorry, I know you can't see it very well, guys. The state, underlined as an amendment. Right? So the state has a lot of power. But in 1639, the state's not defined. No mention anywhere of who can take these actions on behalf of the state. Nothing. Well, I can tell you exactly Who can take action on behalf of the state and why? Who can take action on behalf of the state for all of these amendments here where the state has all this power? Who gets to take that action? That's Bob Ferguson, our Attorney General. You want to know why? Because in his job description, one of the things in his job description is he is the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of Washington State. He's charged with making sure our laws are enforced, are fair, and constitutional. This doesn't sound very fair or constitutional. Sounds like that one man, Bob Ferguson, has way too much power. Way too much. More on that in a second. All right, so now I'm going to go into the really brief definition. Everybody knows what 1639 defines a semi-automatic assault rifle as, right? But for those who haven't actually read the full definition, really quick. A semi-automatic assault rifle means any rifle which utilizes a portion of the energy of a firing cartridge to extract the fired cartridge case and chamber the next round, and which requires a separate pull of the trigger to fire each cartridge. So that's pretty much every rifle out there, with the exception of any firearm that is manually operated by bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. So any rifle, most of them, is now going to be considered an assault rifle. Terrific. Okay, perfect. So now I would like to very, very briefly, my question pertained to Senate Bill 5444. Okay, so I have here, four different proposed bills proposed by our Attorney General. Okay. The first one is Senate Bill 5050. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I would like to read you the definition. These are Senate and House bills. They were never posed to the public. So you wouldn't have been able to read them unless you went onto the legislature website. This is something that he was proposing to the Washington State Legislature's House of Representatives and Senate without a vote of the people. He proposed it. He wrote it. He wants this. This is what he wants. Okay? So this one was read for the first time on January 11th of 2017. All right? And we have a list of senators or of representatives who sponsored it by request of the Attorney General, Mr. Bob Ferguson. This is what he was asking for. All right? This first little line right here is an act relating to assault weapons and large capacity magazines, amending RCW 9.41.010. Oh, guess what? That's where the definitions are changed. That's where they just write in any definition they want to. And this bill defines assault weapons, not assault rifles, assault weapons. That's right. He was going for all of our guns initially. And he was doing it without the people knowing about it. He went just straight to the legislature. He wasn't going to tell anybody about it. It wasn't going to be a people's initiative. He wanted our Washington state government, he wanted the state government to pass this crap without us even knowing, without us having any information or no say or anything. He was going to take our freaking gun rights, all of them. I'm going to read you the definition. So in 1639, the definition of assault rifle is about this long. Okay? It's a little tiny paragraph, right? Now this is Senate Bill 5050. 50. All right. And I'm just going to go through here right quick. Okay. And I'm going to give you guys a real quick visual of this. You won't be able to read it, but I'll read it to you. Everything highlighted in pink is the definition of assault weapon. Okay? This was his first proposal, right? So really quickly, I'm going to read through this really fast. I hope you guys can catch it all. I'm sorry. I just don't want to keep you guys too horribly long. I know I've got a lot of stuff to cover. Assault weapon means a semi-automatic rifle that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following. A pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, a thumb hole stock, a folding or telescoping stock, a second hand grip or a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, muzzle compensator, or threaded barrel designed to accommodate a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, or muzzle compensator, a grenade launcher or flare launcher, a semi-automatic. Okay, now those all apply to a rifle. Next is a semi-automatic pistol or a semi-automatic center fire or rim fire rifle with a fixed magazine that has the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition. So they were going to say that a pistol that has a magazine with more than 10 rounds of ammunition is an assault weapon, right? C, a semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following. Any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a threaded barrel capable of accepting a flash suppressor, forward hand grip, or silencer, a shroud attached to the barrel or that partially or completely encircles the barrel, allowing the bearer to hold the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned, but excluding a slide that encloses the barrel, or the capacity to accept a detachable magazine at any location outside of the pistol grip, a semi-automatic center fire or rim fire rifle that has an overall length of less than 30 inches, a semi-automatic shotgun that has both of the following: a pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, a thumb hole stock or vertical hand grip, a folding or telescoping stock, or an ability to accept a detachable magazine, a shotgun with a revolving cylinder, or a conversion kit, part or combination of parts from which an assault weapon can be assembled if those parts are in the possession or under the control of the same person, right? So any modifications that could be used to assemble an assault weapon that you put on your shotgun or your rifle or anything, that's included. Okay, so your little 22 is now an assault weapon if you do any modifications to it, right? That's what that last tiny little bit means. But up here, they're trying to call handguns an assault weapon. That's a 9mm, a 9mm, a Glock. If it can carry more than 10 bullets, or wait, yeah, more than 10 bullets, it's an assault weapon. Okay, cool. So that is the definition of assault weapon under Senate Bill 5050. All right. So now we're going to go to its a companion bill. I think it says exactly the same thing, but I keep double checking these and triple checking them. All right. House Bill 1134. All right, so remember, Senate Bill 5050 was read for the first time on January 11th. Okay, cool. So House Bill 1134, I'm just pulling out the definition page, guys, was read for the first time on January 12th of 2017. Cool. So they were read in two separate branches of our Washington State Congress, right? Cool. I am having a little tiny bit of an issue. Oh, here it is. I didn't highlight this one. That's why I couldn't find it. I'm sorry. All right, so this is the definition of assault rifle in 1134, right? Or assault weapon, not rifle. I misspoke. All right. Assault weapon means a semi-automatic rifle that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following: a pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, a thumbhole stock, a folding or telescoping stock, a second hand grip or a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, muzzle compensator, or threaded barrel designed to accommodate a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, or muzzle compensator, a grenade launcher or flare launcher, a semi-automatic pistol or a semi-automatic centerfire or rimfire rifle with a fixed magazine that has the capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition, a semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following: any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a threaded barrel capable of accepting a flash suppressor, forward hand grip, or silencer, a shroud attached to the barrel or that partially or completely encircles the barrel, allowing the bearer to hold the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned, but excluding a slide that encloses the barrel, or the capacity to accept a detachable magazine at any location outside of the pistol grip. A semi-automatic centerfire or rimfire rifle that has an overall length of less than 30 inches. Semi-automatic shotgun that has both of the following: a pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, thumbhole stock, or vertical hand grip. A folding or telescoping stock or an ability to accept a detachable magazine, a shotgun with a revolving cylinder or a conversion kit, part or combination of parts from which an assault weapon can be assembled if those parts are in the possession or under the control of the same person. Same definition. Cool. All right, so those are really long definitions, right? All right, so the next one we have is 1387, which is the companion to 5444, which is what my question was about. Because in 5444, the state has none of those authorities at all. None. So I kind of wanted to know whose idea it was to put it in there. You know, since had none of those authorities and it didn't pass the House or the Senate, it stalled. And now all of a sudden it's an initiative to the people where the state has all that power and control, and it passes? Doesn't seem right to me. All right, so House Bill 1387 read first time January 18th. January 18th, 2017. So about a month after those other two. This is also proposed by Bob Ferguson. Okay. Now, the other definitions, I'm not going to go over them tonight because it's just, we're running out of time, but is the definition of secure gun storage. This, really quickly, this, again, in pink, is the definition of secure gun storage in these other four bills that we're running simultaneously through our legislature at the request of Bob Ferguson. All right? Assault weapon means a semi-automatic rifle that has capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following: pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, thumbhole stock, a folding or telescoping stock, a second hand grip, or a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, muzzle compensator, threaded barrel designed to accommodate a flash suppressor, muzzle brake, etc. A grenade launcher, flare launcher, a semi-automatic pistol, or a semi-automatic centerfire or rimfire rifle with a fixed magazine that has capacity to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition, a semi-automatic pistol that has the capacity to accept a detachable magazine and has one or more of the following: any feature capable of functioning as a protruding grip that can be held by the non-trigger hand, a threaded barrel capable of accepting a flash suppressor, forward hand grip or silencer, a shroud attached to the barrel or that partially or completely encircles the barrel, allowing the bearer to hold the firearm with the non-trigger hand without being burned, but excluding a slide that encloses the barrel, or capacity to accept a detachable magazine at any location outside of the pistol grip. A semi-automatic centerfire or rimfire rifle that has an overall length of less than 30 inches, a semi-automatic shotgun that has both of the following: a pistol grip that protrudes conspicuously beneath the action of the weapon, thumbhole stock or vertical hand grip, a folding or telescoping stock, or an ability to accept a detachable magazine, a shotgun with a revolving cylinder or a conversion kit, part or combination of parts from which an assault weapon can be used if those parts are in the possession or under the control of the same person. All right, so it took me a while of reviewing all of these definitions. I'm not going to, 5444 is the exact same definition as this one. Took me a while. I had to go back and forth, and I will get to those points in a different video. But this definition, a month later, is slightly altered, just a little bit, a word here, a word there, from the previous definition to make it not quite so constricted, right? So, yeah. And then we have the one that is my question to Mr. Ferguson, because there's no mention of the state anywhere. All right. 5444. Highlighted in orange are all the areas of the current RCWs that are amended by 5444. And again, we have, at the request of the Attorney General, list of sponsors, read for the first time January 25th, 2017. Now remember, this stuff is all about assault weapon, not assault rifle. So they're trying to include handguns in it at this time. Sorry. All right, so it's the same definition. All right. So what I did was I went and I actually looked up the definition of assault weapon. Okay, all of this stuff that he's proposing is an assault weapon. Now we're getting to the good parts. Don't leave me yet, guys. Okay, don't leave me yet. Scott Brower. Nice one. All right. Assault rifle, as defined by Encyclopedia Britannica, right? They're well respected, right? They don't know everything, maybe they make some bad choices, but they're well respected for information. All right. It is defined in Encyclopedia Britannica as a military firearm. And this is the definition of assault rifle, according to them. Military firearm that is chambered for ammunition of reduced size or propellant charge, and that has the capacity to switch between semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. Okay? So we all know that fully automatic weapons have been illegal for quite a long time. Truly fully automatic weapons, not legal. Can't have them. Nope. Okay, so some examples of real true blue assault rifles include the AK-47, the AR-15, the real AR-15, an M16, which, by the way, when I was reading about it, it turns out that the M16 is the same thing as an AR-15. Interesting little fact. The M16A1 and the M4. These weapons, while they may look a lot like the real thing, these weapons are only available in semi-automatic firing ability for the general public in the United States. Therefore, here's my fact. According to that definition, and knowing what we know about fully automatic rifles and weapons not being allowed, they're illegal. You know, the only people that can get them are military. Therefore, if any mass shooters had true blue AR-15s or other assault rifles, it was obtained completely illegally, which means, now check it out, if anybody watched that video, you will hear Bob Ferguson state, and he stated it multiple times back in 2016 as well. You will hear Bob Ferguson flat out state that a 19-year-old walked into a gun shop and walked out a few minutes later with an AR-15 rifle. Okay? It had to have been obtained illegally. That means he could not have walked into a gun shop. So is Bob Ferguson lying and making stuff up and embellishing to scare people into wanting gun bans? Is he trying to scare the people that he's supposed to be protecting and enforcing our laws and making sure our laws are constitutional? Is he trying to scare them into doing what he wants? That's what it sounds like to me. There's no possible way the Mukilteo shooter walked into a store, purchased a true assault weapon, and walked out, as Ferguson claims. All right? Wikipedia, all right, now the shooter that I'm talking about is the shooter, he was a 19-year-old, and he was jealous and upset that his girlfriend broke up with him, so he went to a party and he shot, sadly, he shot and killed 3 people and injured 1. Okay, but that's what Ferguson is basing his entire gun ban on. Is that this kid walked into a store, supposedly, and walked out a few minutes later with an AR-15. He says it in the video of me questioning him, and he says it again in an article published in the Seattle Times in February 28th of, I believe, February 23rd of 2018. Okay? He stated it several times that this kid walked in there and walked out that same day within a few minutes with an AR-15, with an AR-15 and a high-capacity magazine. Not possible. Even under the current Washington state law, he still has to pass the background checks that were already in place. He has to do that. No way. No way. He walked in and walked out with an AR-15. Not even, not even an imitation one, let alone a real one. By the way, the AR and AR-15, for those that don't know, stands for Armalite. It's a brand name, not assault rifle. Okay, so there is no way the Mukilteo shooter walked into a store, purchased a true assault weapon, and walked out, as Ferguson claims. Wikipedia lists the weapon used in that shooting as a Ruger 5.56 semi-automatic rifle. Wiki also refers to it as an AR-15 style rifle. Even Wikipedia knows it's not an AR-15. Come on now. yet Ferguson is referring to it as an AR-15. All right. Now, again, fact check this. All right, because I'm quoting him. I'm going to be quoting him. I've got the article on my phone. I'm going to quote him right now. In an article published February 23rd, 2018, Ferguson stated, for the past 2 legislative sessions, I have proposed Senate Bill 5444 and House Bill 1387. First of all, I'd like to propose that that's not exactly 100% true or accurate either. All right. He proposed 4 separate bills that ran simultaneously almost in one legislative session. I could find no record of him proposing 5444 or its companion bill anywhere in the legislature website. It was only proposed once. So, again, more dishonesty on his part. Please feel free to look all of this stuff up. All right, Seattle Times. He also states, an 18-year-old can walk into Cabela's and walk out minutes later with an AR-15. And I said, that too is a misleading statement. It's meant to alarm people into wanting gun control. In February, he's adamant about 5444. He's passionate about it in this article. Very, very passionate about it. He wants this thing passed. He says it, and I quote, it makes no damn sense. Quote. All right. It makes no damn sense that it won't pass. In Washington state, these teenagers could not legally purchase a handgun. Incredibly, however, state law allowed them to purchase military-style assault weapons. No, they didn't. You can't get military-style assault weapons. Not legally. State law? Doesn't sound right. This makes no damn sense. Maybe that's because you're not correct. Right? Someone lied about where they got the gun. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Now, this kid, there was another article I was reading, and I didn't get a chance to write down the reference, but this kid blamed the gun shop that he got the gun from. It was all about, oh, I wish they'd never sold me this horrible gun. Right? All right. At the end of the article, now this is him writing to the Seattle Times. At the end of the article, now February 23rd, 2018, the Seattle Times, he states, Bob Ferguson states, flat out, the constitutionality of these laws is not in dispute. Our federal courts repeatedly uphold them. He wrote this to the Seattle Times to try to urge the legislature to take a vote on 5444. Because it's still sitting in there. Not doing nothing. It wasn't denied. It's just sitting there. He calls this common sense steps. All right, so I'm going to go back to this. In February, he's adamant about 5444, yet in November 2018, when asked a question directly pertaining to 5444 and how it evolved into 1639, he claimed, and this is on the video that I posted of me asking him that question, he claimed he didn't know which bill I was talking about. He goes from saying in February, the legislature must take a vote on this now, about 5444, to saying, oh, I don't know what bill you're talking about. I don't know which bill you're referring to. At which point I did tell him it's a bill that you endorsed. I said endorsed, wrong word. And to which he responded with, oh, my office sees many, many, many bills. So is he passionate about gun control? Or is he just signing bills that come through without even reading them? Which one is it? Or is he using gun violence to promote a different agenda? Bob Ferguson, that question's for you. Which one is it, bud? When I mentioned 1639 a second time, he started going into answering the question as if it were about 1639, saying, oh yes, 1639, I can talk about 1639, blah, 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 blah. Age of 21, just align the ages for purchases of both types of firearms. Yeah, I then corrected him and I said, no, sir, I'm not asking about 1639. And I asked him again, I says, where and what purpose does the state have to have authority to be an entity that has the authority to approve or deny a firearm application? And then he says again, I'm not sure what do you mean the state? Has he not read the law? Has he not read the bill? The state, all that stuff that I went through in the first half hour of this video, that's what my question was about. I wanted to know why the state suddenly has all that authority, specifically why he does. Because in the interest of upholding and enforcing the laws and the state constitution, the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer of Washington State. That means that authority falls on his shoulders. He now has the power to flat out say, yes, you can have a gun, or no, you can't have a gun, or say, well, no, I'm going to hold this and I'm going to investigate your personal life. So, $1639 has some extremely similar, are you guys getting where I'm going with this? 1639 has some extremely similar characteristics to all four of those bills that Ferguson proposed, with a few differences. The assault rifle definition is much smaller in 1639. Safe gun storage definition is much smaller in 1639. And the state's power is now all-encompassing where firearms are concerned. So now this is for those who are pro-gun control. Listen to what I just said, okay? He went from having extreme gun control in his proposed bills to now we have almost, comparatively, I'm not saying that 1639 is okay or minimizing it, not a bit. But to put this in perspective for the other side, right? He went from having all that gun control in his proposals, and now we have 1639, where comparatively there's almost nothing, but the state has all the power. Ferguson has all the power and control over the people's right to bear arms. One man in our state government now has all that power. Previously, the state had no say. Now the state can even revoke approvals made by law enforcement during reviews, as mandated in 1639. So the state giveth and the state taketh away, right? Ferguson giveth and Ferguson taketh away. Why does he get that power? He's not even the governor. He's not the he ain't. Oh wait. In closing, I kind of already made my point, but the progressive whittling down of the definitions in each bill that stalled in the legislature and the comparable tiny definitions, which isn't even the true definition of assault rifle in 1639, combined with the sudden addition of the state as an entity capable of allowing, denying firearm, CPL applications, and even revoking previously allowed applications, reveals 1639's true purpose. You guys get where I'm going yet? To give Bob Ferguson ultimate power in deciding who does and who does not have the right to bear arms. This isn't about public safety. It's not about assault rifles. It's about power. Plain and simple, it's about power. Under 1639, our Attorney General has now obtained total and absolute power over the citizens of Washington State through their firearms. So to the other side, I would say this. He sold you out. 1639 is comprised of bits and pieces of those four bills. And the state's power is added, and the actual gun control is whittled away. So he sold out his constituents. He sold them out for power. That's the information that I have today. I'm researching all of these bills to get a feel for the language, for how they're presented, how they're written, so I know what not to do with mine. At first, I was really ambitious and I was thinking, yeah, I can get it done before the legislative session. Well, here's the deal, guys. If you guys help me with this, not necessarily the writing of it, but if you help me with this by raising awareness, drawing attention to our cause, going out there, doing protests, doing rallies all across the state. Invite your family and friends to join this page. I'm going to be posting a link here sometime this evening. I'm going to be posting all of my videos on YouTube channel. Come and subscribe to my YouTube channel. The rallies and protests that I attend, I will be live feeding. I'm going to be planning another protest for hopefully next weekend. My ability to travel is pretty limited right now because of the holidays, so it'll probably be here local in Benton County. But share the living daylights out of this information, please. This video, if no other video gets shared, this one needs to go viral. So I'm asking you guys for help with that. Because the voters on the other side, they need to know what was done to them. Because they got screwed just like we did. We got screwed. They got screwed too, in a different way. That's the information that I have. I've drawn my conclusion about it. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, some people will listen to somebody talk about stuff like this and say, oh, they're an extremist. What are they raving about? But here it is. I've shown you all of it in black and white. Right here. I backed it up with facts and evidence. This man is pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing for power. Plain and simple. So Bob Ferguson, what makes you think you have the right to all that power? What makes you think you have the right to decide who gets a constitutional right? We elected you, dude. I didn't vote for you, but the people elected you. You work for us. We sign your paycheck with tax money. We are your boss. Or did you forget that? We're your boss, Bob Ferguson. All right, let me take it a little bit and make it a little bit more personal. I'm your boss, dude. My husband's your boss. My nephew is your boss. My brother-in-law is your boss. The members of this page are your boss. You answer to us. And we want answers. Why do you get all that power, dude? Whose idea was it? This is my question. I will make it plain and simple to you. Someone please make sure he sees this. Whose idea was it to add the state as an entity that has authority to approve or deny a firearm to 1639? It wasn't there in 5444, but it was there in 1639, which went to the people after you touted it as a public safety measure. And you lied about what kind of guns are available for sale. You misrepresented the background checks that are required. So answer my question. I asked it once face to face and you wouldn't answer it. You played dumb. Oh, I don't know which bill you're referring to. Answer the question, dude. Now, share this video, guys. That's what I have for tonight. That's a lot of information to process. Take some time, think it over. Look those laws up. They're all on the state legislature website. All right. And if you guys have any questions, wow, that's a lot of comments. I didn't see any of them pop up in the feed though. If you guys have any questions, sorry, I'm just reading your comments now. Yeah, Victoria Castle, the local sheriff or police are the ones that currently have the authority to approve or deny a firearm application. Under 1639, now Bob Ferguson has that authority, our Attorney General. That's what I have, guys. I'm reading through your comments. I'm sorry about that. I think this is the longest video I've done, but please, please, please I'll do what I can to make it shareable as soon as possible, but please make it share. Please share the daylights out of it. If any of it does, if any of them go viral, this one needs to. Because everybody needs to know this. I know we're in opposition with the other side, but the voters on the other side need to know that they got sold out for power. They really need to know that. Thanks, guys. I'll see you back on Wednesday. That's going to be my next broadcast. I'm going to be having a specific schedule. So it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at 8:30 p.m. is the start time. You guys have a good night. Get some sleep. I got to get back to work. Bye.